Hi, this is Danielle, and I wanted to make a video today about some of the possible detox or side effects, quote unquote, side effects of CellCore, so that you can just educate yourself and be prepared as you're on your CellCore journey. So, in women, sometimes when we're detoxing, our periods can kind of get shifted. So either our periods can be heavier or maybe we'll be spotting in between periods. And that has to do with the detox processes and our hormones are kind of recalibrating. Now, when I've seen this, it's usually during like phase 2 to phase 3 most often, or step 2 and step 3, and then it kind of resolves out. It has some to do with what's going on within your own body. And it does not happen for everybody, but it can happen. So I want you to know that. So that if it happens to you, you can talk to your provider. If you're anemic and you're spotting more or bleeding a lot more, you might need to adjust the dosages just to make sure that you're doing everything that's right for your body. Some people, not everyone, but some people will notice that they will gain a little bit of weight while they're doing CellCore. And again, this has to do, everybody is different in what they're releasing. But if you're releasing a lot of heavy metals and toxins and mycotoxins, your body is going to want to dilute that to kind of protect itself so that you're not having like all of this in your system as you're releasing it. And so I've heard the term the body's solution to pollution is dilution. And so a lot of what people are noticing is water weight gain. And then that, as you stick with CellCore and as you're cleansing your body of all these things, that does go down. So it's kind of a temporary um, side effect that people can notice. And I just want to tell you that it is not, most of the time it's water weight. Now, with that said, it is interesting because when you're releasing parasites in phase 2 and phase 3 or step 2 and step 3, sometimes people have insane intense cravings for things, and that's the parasites craving that. And so you can also notice, how are you eating during the protocol? There's not a right or a wrong, but you can just notice that. And that might also be playing into your situation as well. For me personally, when I had cravings, I gave into them. I could not resist them. I wanted ice cream so bad. It was fascinating. I think I said this in another video, but I ate the ice cream. I just couldn't help myself. And then the next day, like a ton of parasites came out. It's almost as if the ice cream like drew the parasites out. And then I took the supplements to kill them and they left. And then I didn't have the cravings anymore. After the parasites were gone, the cravings went away. So it's interesting to notice that as well. In a couple of people, this I have not seen this very often, but in a couple of people, they noticed a little bit more hair loss during step 2 or phase 2. And I reached out to the CellCore docs about this. And because if you're a woman, like our hair, like we don't mess with our hair. So so if that happens to you, talk to your provider. Usually, we'll recommend maybe taking out para one or para two or both of them. And what the CellCore docs were explaining was it has to do with a gut microbiome imbalance, and that as that resolves, it's going to resolve. I didn't. When I went through the protocol, I had this. I didn't change anything, and it did resolve on its own, kind of as I went through the protocol. But I've had other people where it's been more pronounced, where we had to stop the paras for a little bit. Um, the other thing I want to mention is pay attention to your fatigue. So when you're doing step 1, phase 1, and really throughout the protocol, how fatigued are you? Because that's going to give you some idea of how your mitochondria is doing. And so you can you may need different approaches based on how your mitochondria is doing, because your mitochondria, that's like the powerhouse of the cell. It makes the ATP and the energy for you to have energy in life to do things. And your mitochondria can't be a power plant and make the energy and a battleship, like fighting off heavy metals or mycotoxins at the same time. So it's going to choose one. So if you are extremely fatigued in step 1 or phase 1, talk to your provider, because you may need to shift some things with your dosages. Um, Sometimes, I will say in general, when you're detoxing, you will get fatigued and it'll last a few days and then kind of resolve. It's like, if you're on the CellCore protocol, you probably have noticed things can kind of go in waves. And so fatigue is a possibility. And if your mitochondria are stressed, you may need to kind of alter your approach with your provider. People who have migraines, their migraines they can have more migraines, especially during phase 2 and phase 3. So it's just good to know that you can adjust your dosages with your provider to mitigate that. And then people who have like eczema or psoriasis, while you're going through some of the phase 2, phase 3, that sometimes it will get worse before it gets better. And there does seem to be a link to parasites with both of those. And a lot of people, you know, when you start CellCore, there's those two different approaches. There's the foundational protocol, which is 4 months, and the comprehensive protocol, which is 9 months. If you have questions about those, you can go to my website. I have more information. Um, and sometimes it's hard to know like how long it's going to take. Some people will ask me like, how long will it be until I'm clear of parasites? And it's more of a journey. And I don't know that anyone's ever fully clear of parasites, because we're living, we're out in the environment, we're eating foods, a lot of people will do a protocol and like clear out a lot of the stuff, and then every quarter or every few months, they'll do a parasite cleanse around a full moon to clear out more. And so I don't know that we can ever say we're parasite free, but we can get to a point where we're not being impacted with the parasites, where our skin's better, where our energy better, our digestion's better, we're not having cravings, that sort of thing. And as you're going on the protocol, you may want to repeat months to customize it to you. So, for example, maybe you plan to do a 4-month protocol, but you're releasing parasites at the end of step 2, and there's still parasites coming out. You might want to shift and repeat that month so you can have more time to release that type of parasite. And your provider can help you with that. And I highly, highly recommend finding someone who you can talk to and work out the dosing with, and kind of talk to when you hit maybe a little bump in the road, because these products are potent and they work. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you don't feel good. And so I recommend you find someone who you can talk to about things along the way, and who can kind of give you tips and tricks, and adjust your dosing. And if you don't know what the different levels of dosing are, if you're less than 125 pounds, you're going to want to cut the standard dose at least probably in half, because of just the weight. And then there's also dosing that's higher around the full moon. So I encourage you to educate yourself, watch videos on YouTube. You can check out my website for some free resources, and really trust your own knowing. I say this all the time. Don't do CellCore because a friend's doing CellCore. Do CellCore or any parasite cleanse. It doesn't have to be CellCore. Do it because your body is like calling you to do it, or there's like a spark within you that's like, ooh, I want to try that. Follow your own body's wisdom in terms of what you need. And I think that will be helpful for you. If you'd like to work with me as your provider, I would love to support you. I have a free online class for all of my clients that kind of walks through dosages and gives you information about what you're actually doing during each step or phase. And I have a tips and tricks sheet included with that. So I love supporting people to help you get the most out of your CellCore journey. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm available to you and would love to support you. Thanks. Have a great day.